Welcome back, Empower Connect family, to another episode of Empower Connect Conversations. I'm your host, Carolyn McLean, and today we're diving into a powerful psalm that shows us how to find strength in God, even when we feel surrounded by trouble. I'm excited to share today the topics with you based on Psalms 3. If you're feeling overwhelmed or discouraged, this is definitely for you. Let's get ready to unpack this together. Psalms 3 is often called a morning psalm because it reflects deep trust in God, even when life feels chaotic. It's a personal cry from King David during one of the most painful moments of his life. David is on the run from his own son, Absalom, who is trying to overthrow him. Talk about betrayal and heartache. But in the midst of this, David writes this psalm, showing us how to respond when we are feeling outnumbered and overwhelmed. Let's read the first few verses together. Psalms 3, verses 1 and 2, it reads, Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver me. David begins by acknowledging his reality. He's not sugarcoating the fact that he's in trouble. His enemies are multiplying and the people are doubting that God would help him. Sometimes we feel that way, don't we? Maybe it's family, co-workers, or even our own thoughts telling us that we're beyond help. But here's the thing. David does not say that place of fear. He doesn't say it in that place of fear. Now listen to the shift in the tone as we move on to verse 3. But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. David switches from focusing on his enemies to focusing on God. He's saying, You, Lord, are a shield around me. Imagine that. A shield not just in front of him, but all around him. That is God's protection over us, covering us from every side. When life feels like we're craving in or caving in, God becomes our defender. He lifts our head when we feel bowed down by the weight of life. Have you ever been in that place where you feel so burdened that you can't even lift your head up? Well, I have. But God stepped in, lifts us up, and reminds us who we are, who He is. I want to encourage you today that no matter what's surrounding you, God is your shield. David continues in verse 5. Here's where it gets even more incredible. I lay down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. Despite everything going on, David is able to sleep. When we're anxious or afraid, sleep is often the first thing to go. But David is showing us that when we trust in God, He gives us peace that allows us to rest. Even when the storms is raging around us. And notice, David said, I wake again because the Lord sustained me. Every day, each breath is a gift from God. If you are struggling with sleepless night because of fear, stress, or worry, remember that God sustains you. Pray before you sleep. Hand your burden over to Him and trust that He's working things out even while you rest. Let's wrap up verse 8, where David declares something powerful. In verse 8, It reads, "From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessings be on your people. May your blessings be on your people." David ends his prayer by declaring victory, not just for himself, but for all of God's people. He recognized that deliverance comes from God alone. It's not about his strength, his army, or his ability. It's about God stepping in and bringing the victory. So, how does this apply to us? Whatever you're facing, whether it's family struggle, financial hardship, or emotional pain, know that deliverance is from the Lord. Keep your focus on Him because He is your shield, your sustainer, and the one who lifts your head high. Empower Connect family, Psalms 3 tells us that even when we're feeling overwhelmed, we can rest in the assurance that God is with us. He is our protector, our peace, and our victory. So, whatever's battling you, whatever battles you are facing today, be encouraged that God is your shield. Let's continue to grow together as we seek God's heart and His wisdom in every situation. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Empower Connect Conversation. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and join in the conversations online. Until next time, remember that through God, you can overcome any challenges. Again, this is Carolyn McLean. Stay connected, stay empowered, and as always, keep sowing. God bless.